Hi, this is J.R. Tolkien, and I'm speaking to you as an interdimensional being, as I have died as a human being on Earth and experiencing myself in the afterlife, if you want to call it that. And it's quite a fascinating experience, and I'm certain not many human beings are quite aware of the fact that when you die, you still exist. And it's a fascinating and literally mind-blowing experience when you die and you still find yourself existing. And it's quite a profound transition because it's like you leave yourself as who you were on Earth when you leave your physical body when you die. And that's what I'm here to explain. What I've realized is that who I was on Earth was not who I really am. It's fascinating. I'll get more into that a bit later. And that when you die, you find that part of yourself that is suppressed, that you're not aware of, and that is not being expressed fully in this world. And now you're probably asking the question, but what do you mean then? Who am I? What am I at this moment? So at this very moment, what I've realized when I was looking at my life after I've crossed over to the dimensions or the afterlife or heaven, I would rather refer to it as the afterlife, because at the moment all the beings who die are right back here on Earth and busy supporting human beings to realize that part of themselves that has been suppressed and that is not aware and that is not in full expression in this world. So what I've realized when I got into the afterlife or the dimensions was that I myself during my life was but a programmed system. Now you're probably going, Tolkien, are you going on to another ride of another imaginatively beautiful book writing? No, I'm not. This is the actuality of the situation here on Earth. And it's fascinating because now you're probably asking what are systems. Now systems are, it's like a metallic placement. It looks like a metallic color. It's an interdimensional placement that's within human beings. It stretches from your mind center down your spine, and then it infuses into your entire physical body, into your muscle tissues, right through into your DNA. And now during this time, for a very long period on Earth, there were these beings called the White Light, the Anunnaki, who were the primary creators of these systems, who basically enslaved and controlled humanity. Now what they did is they had the ability to program human beings' minds, the ability to program who and what and how and where and when human beings should experience themselves on Earth, what they think, what they feel, in terms of feelings and emotions, what they experience in this world, their personality, their behavior, everything of that, like everything you define yourself as who you are, was programmed by these beings in the dimensions who enslaved and controlled humanity. And I realized that was my same situation. And I merely accessed a point in my mind in terms of being able to write what I did that was the expansive, ability that's been suppressed extensively in this world and in many human beings. And that's basically where my writings came from. The Lord of the Rings and also the Hobbits, everything. The whole, imagine to the extent your mind is able to create a different reality, a different world, individual persons, individual beings. And what I've found is fascinating is that you'd think that, okay, that's just an imaginary world that's been created. But in truth, it's not. It's fascinating because each one of us have the ability to actually create and design a universe, a world with individual beings within it. And of course you're going now, Tolkien, you're off your mind, you're off your rocket. What have they done to you? No, you may seem that, and just because at the moment you're so limited into the suppressed nature of the systems inside you, which we refer to as the consciousness systems which are the design of the creators, which have enslaved and controlled humanity to become what and who they are today. And I mean, if you look at the world, the experience of humanity and the world today, it is rather disheartening, and it is sad, and it is actually just plain horrible and disgusting. And I'm actually quite astounded that people will still have children being brought into this world, because the status of it is just horrendous. And it is basically due to human beings believing that there are these systems inside them. Now, these systems are that which think, that which become emotional, that which feels, that which has an apparent personality, behaviors, like reactions, the actions you take, the experience of yourself with other people. I mean, it's not who you really are. And this, who you really are, I'm speaking of, is that part of myself that was on earth, that's now in the dimensions, and that I only through death had the ability to experience, who I really am beyond that consciousness systems implementations within human beings by the creators, which is the White Light and the Anunnaki, mainly, the main players. And that's what many people will be realizing the moment they die, because what actually dies in that moment is the systems, the consciousness systems inside you that have been used to program you, that have been used to define who you are, to keep you enslaved and controlled during your life on Earth. And even if you look at the books I've written and all my writings, everyone makes such a big issue about that, like they're not able to do it themselves. And so that's also but a programmed event that have taken place, to have human beings believe, but look what great and profound work Tolkien has done. And it spreads throughout the world, and this is magnificent and oh my God thing. But then it's only one person expressing that, when everybody doesn't know that each and every single human being has the ability to do that. You have the ability to imagine your own world, kind of imagine the individual personalities in it, the storyline, the, the events that take place, even how your planet's going to look like, or how your world's going to look like, Each and every single human being has the ability to do that. And also manifest it, actually. I just access that point that exists within each and every single human being. And that is your creative, imaginative side, if you want to call it that. It's fascinating because these consciousness systems inside human beings have limited them to such an extent. Oh, excuse me, this ear is itching. Has limited human beings to such an extent that they perceive themselves to be so inferior and unworthy of any such extraordinary abilities, which I presented, which I accessed in my mind, which is like a place in your mind, specifically in this area and this area here, forms like a interesting shaped L, which basically opened up, which is your right brain side, is your structural manifested side, your structural implementation side, and then your left side is the creative expressive side. So basically, what I've done in my writings is place these two access points together and created an entire world, an entire universe, where individual beings existed, and it was beautiful, it was fascinating, it was just all here. And it wasn't that difficult to write. I mean, I started seeing this when I was very young, and I couldn't understand why anyone else see that they had the ability to actually do that. I mean, how powerful, not powerful, but I mean, how great must human beings really be in terms of, not even great, but how expansive must the mind actually be to have the ability to design such a world in its complexities, in its intricacies, and in its specificity. And what is that access point really for? I mean, as far as I look at it, the world that I designed, the individual expressions of beings I designed, the absolute uniqueness and creativeness I explored within what I've written, what is it for actually? Is it maybe something that existed inside me as myself to have the ability to create something like that? I mean, it just shows you how powerful the mind actually is, and how suppressed and limited the mind has become because of these consciousness systems that have been implanted in human beings by the White Light and the Anunnaki. And it's scary. I mean, you know, human beings have become so inferior and so limited in their acceptances and allowances of themselves in this world. And you can see it in the world. I mean, if you look at the world, it's a real fuck up, to say the least. And why is it such a fuck up? I mean, why have we limited ourselves so extensively in this world that you have wealth and you have absolute starvation and poverty? I mean, we live in an absolute polarity of limitation, and that limitation is busy stretching us out to the point where this world is going to start breaking, because the polarity equations of the world is not able to maintain itself anymore. And that's where this world is going to. It's going to absolute destruction, because you know why? Beings aren't using their creativeness and their expansive nature within themselves. And you know what is the one thing that is limiting beings in this world? Is the school system. It's school systems. It's the entire scenario where human beings and children are fed this absolute unnecessary information because they apparently have to go to school, they have to go to university, they have to get a job. Why? One simple reason. They have to make money to survive in this world. And in that survival technique, they limit themselves extensively because they have to limit themselves to only do schoolwork, what is taught to them by the teachers, by the government. They're only limited to have to take in the information, what is learned in universities, and they're limited to actually how many amount of jobs that are available in this world. And I'm grateful because I access the point that I'm here to explain to you, to say that human beings, God, you're limited. I mean, I was grateful and fortunate enough to able to experience that point inside my mind as an expression of myself that is vast. I mean, imagine just for a moment, you know, take yourself to that point and imagine how profound, how intricate, how specific and precise your mind actually is. And my mind was to be able to imagine such a world in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits. I mean, I didn't get my ideas from anywhere else but within me. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And just a short bit about what I experienced while I was here on Earth, and the expansive nature of each human being's mind, and what has been and how it has been suppressed in this world and within each and every single human being. And I suggest you find ways to rather explore children's individual self-expression, you know, opening that mind sentence. And how you do that is through asking the children, what is it that they would like to experience? What is it that they would like to learn? And, you know, what is it that will support them? They know. Ask them. It's the greatest gift we're able to give to them at the moment, because outside in that world, that is a disastrous place where they will live in constant fear and furthermore suppress themselves as who they really are. Thanks. This is Tolkien. Speak later.